Hey everybody, and welcome back to the channel. It's your girl Lori, and I'm going to talk to you about oversharing. Yeah, I feel like so many people say to me, oh my God, why do I keep oversharing? So I thought, why not do a little video on that for you? And it is something that I am really strict on with my own boundaries, and I respect other people's boundaries. So always remember, as with any of my content, anything that I tell you that pertains to you, like is about you, also pertains to you. I'll give you an example as we go down. So let's talk about it. So let's say someone invites you somewhere. You guys have heard this probably from me before. But I want to really go into detail with it. If someone invites you somewhere, and let's say you'd rather, I don't know, walk naked down the street than go, right? You just don't want to go. So you could literally say, no, I'm not available. Like I will just say, no, I'm not available. That's it. They will push. People will push just because they want to know your why. Here's where you have to stand your ground. And this is where they have to stand their ground with you. So let me give you this scenario, okay? You've invited me to your barbecue, okay? And we're friends. I mean, we're not just acquaintances. We are like friends, family, sister, doesn't matter, okay? But we're tight. We're pretty tight. And I just want to stay home because I've had a busy week. I want to stay home. I want to lay out by my pool by myself and not talk to other people, okay? And you invite me to the barbecue. Listen, it's not an urgent issue. There will be some times that you do have to compromise. It can't be all about you, but there are times that it has to be about you, and this is one of them. You don't have to say, no, I just want to stay out by my pool. Like what? Why are we giving extra information? No, I'm not available. Oh, well, why not? Because I'm not available. Why do you need to know? Well, I don't know. I could just work around you. See, that's the other problem. People want your why so they can try to they'll tell you, and I truly believe that they feel as though they're doing it from a place of consideration. Well, maybe I can change my plans for you. Yes, but if I wanted you to change my plans for me, I would say, hey, you know what? That time's a little off for me. Is there any way that we could do a little bit later, or can I come a little bit later? Then you would know I would want to come. Doesn't make sense for you to sit there and try to do that. And there is a little manipulation in there because you may really want that person there. Again, coming from a warm, good place in your heart, but you can't do that. Not everybody wants to feel obligated to come. Right? Now, I may say, I just don't want to people today, I'm not coming, and if you're like, oh my God, well, I can't worry about how you're going to receive it because I would also respect that from you. And very often when you over-explain, it's because if people don't over-explain or they don't tell you their why, you start thinking, is it you? Which is for you to process. So when you start oversharing, people will move the goalposts. So in this case, I say no. But let's say I did give it a reason, okay? Now, my reason is up for your approval, and I'm not doing that. So I'll give you what I mean. So if I say to you, no, because little Johnny has to go to soccer on that day, and we have this big tournament, and okay, so now I've given this entire thesis of what I'm doing for the day. You go, oh, okay, I get it, I understand, right? You understand because it's my kid, we got lacrosse, we've got that all day long, or soccer, whatever. It sucks, but you're like, it's okay. Now, if I say to you, no, because I want to sit home and watch the newest movie, or I want to watch Batman, or I just want to catch up on crochet, you now may go, yeah, but can't you do that another day? If you're catching up on something on Netflix, that's not, okay, why are you negotiating my why? No. So there's no need to even put yourself in that position. People are going to not like it. They will call you self-absorbed. They will call you angry. They will call you they will also say, oh, you're just going through something, right? Because you're not used to those boundaries. So that's why this boundary of oversharing has to be close to the vest. Again, going to flip that on you though, right? So now you asked your sister to come over and she says, no, I'm not available. Leave it as it is. Leave it as it is. Don't worry about her why, because then you're going to sit there and you're going to worry about her why consecutively over and over again. And then you're going to constantly move this goalpost, and moving the goalpost isn't fair. Because think of this. How many times have you said, God, if I only knew their why, why did they do this? Why did they say those things? And then they actually give you the answer. What if somebody said, because I just don't want to come, right? Because that's a legitimate reason. You go, oh, well, why not? Well, no. Now you've moved the goalpost. You said, well, I need to know their why. So now they say, I don't want to come. And you go, well, but why not? Okay, you just moved that goal line back. So let's say, because I don't feel like being around Tiffany or whatever, right? And I go, okay, well, but you're not there for Tiffany, you're there for me. Do you see what I'm saying? This negotiation tactic will come and it'll keep being this way. Now that also, like I said, pertains to you. Stop trying to negotiate people. All right, there are times that people just don't want to be around you and it has nothing to do with you. It's not a personal attack. I know I don't like to people all the time because my entire profession is around peopling and I love it, but I need that decompression time. And sometimes it's going to come where I have to sacrifice not going somewhere because I need to replenish myself. You got to know that about yourself. You can't be everything to everyone, right? And again, you must also respect other people's boundaries. So even though you would like more information from them, you got to remember you're kind of doing it in a way just to be like, okay, so it's not me. And then if it is me, well, wait, well, why is it me? Now we're negotiating this. So you have to be careful with the oversharing. There's always going to be people who are going to misunderstand you. They're going to create their own narrative. They're going to say various things about you. You're going to have to let that be what it is. And that's where that self-love comes into play. And yes, boundaries is one. No is no, period. And oversharing for people's approval can be problematic too. So you're like, hey, I'm thinking about starting this business. And I say, okay, well, like what's the business? I mean, I do kind of need to know that information. And you say, because, we're just spitballing it. That's different than oversharing because now I'm engaging with you and I'm asking you for like more feedback so I can give you, now we're in the middle of a conversation. What I don't need is for you to go, hey, so I'm thinking about starting this business and this is what I'm going to do with it. And this is why I think it's relevant. Okay, well, hold on. I don't even know if I'm capable of understanding and hearing this right now because I might not be in that space. So you have to understand not everybody is in a space to hear you and you're not in a space to hear everybody else. So if someone's hitting the door and they're dumping all of their problems from all day long and meanwhile you have your own issue going on and you can't really tolerate it because you can't really function, you have to say, hey, listen, I'm not in a space to hear you right now. Just give me like an hour, let me decompress and I promise I'll circle back. But you know what I'm saying? Like they're not mind readers. So you do have to speak your truth, just like the same for them. So if you walk in and you have something you want to dump on somebody, don't just dump on them. Ask them if they're in a space to hear you. If they say no and you get your feelings hurt, that's for you to process. People are not entitled to just hear you whenever you choose to have them hear you. And that's why you want to be careful of the over-explaining too. So you want to check your boundaries, right? Because if you're over-explaining and over-sharing, you're giving a lot and then you're giving way too much because now it's negotiable and then you're going to expect everyone else to share that much too. And that's not boundaries. That's just out there, but it's not boundaries. Okay. So you have to be okay with people not understanding your perspective. You're going to have to be okay with people not understanding your why and creating their own scenario, because when you don't give them a scenario, they create that scenario and that's not your job to do. Now, later on down the road, if somebody says, oh, I really wish you would have come on Saturday. Was everything okay? Even then you don't have to give the answer. If you feel like, yeah, I just didn't feel like being around people. Again, I prefer a very direct approach. Hey, can you come over to the barbecue today? I could, but I'm not peopling today. I'm just exhausted. And that's not up for negotiation. I didn't ask you that so you could say, well, come over, da, da, da. I'm not going to negotiate it. So when you get, and again, I don't want your negotiation. Like, I don't need your why. If you're not coming, you're not coming. Regardless of the reason, you're not showing up. So that's what I want you to focus on, is checking yourself before you want to overshare, and then also checking yourself on their boundaries to not push for them to overshare. It's not okay. Boundaries, baby.